Okay, for number one, we want to know the area for z greater than negative 2.15. So we're going to go here, functions, distribution. It's a normal distribution. We can just leave it at 0 and 1, which is our standard. If I want to get a nice graphic and hit this zoom fit. Okay, and we want to find the cumulative, so greater than negative 2.15. So negative 2.15 through infinity. So negative 2.15 here, all the way through infinity. Okay, so that gives us an area of 0.98. So 98%, with a probability of 0.98. Okay, number two, sorry, part B, we went between those two there. So we went between negative 0.56 and 1.87. And it gives us this probability. We want to find this area right here. You should have the sketch. And this area is 0.68. 68% probability is between those two numbers. Okay, part C, number two, we want the area less than 2.46. So 2.46 here and less than would be down here. So I'm going to go from negative infinity. So I just leave it, just correct, just put negative infinity in it, and 2.46. So we're starting at 2.46, and less than that is 0.993. Part B went between z-score of 0.5 and 1.79. So between 0.5 and 1.79, this is a probability of 27%. So between these two z-scores, about 27% of the people, 0.27. Okay, for number three, we want to go the other direction. So if I have 34% down here, what would be the z-score associated with that? Okay, so if you remember, we did this in class, or you can go to the notes as well. We have to identify it's a normal with a mean of 0 and a standard deviation of 1, because we have to kind of fill that in. We put dot, and then we can put the inverse here. So if we go to functions, the inverse, we want to go the opposite direction. The inverse, what direction? And we can put our area in there. And our area for number 3 is 0.34. So it doesn't give us a graph right here. But if we have a z-score of negative 0.41, okay, that'll give us an area there. So I'll show you this here. So just to double check ourselves, if we go normal distribution of that z of 0 and 1, and if we want to find the cumulative from there to, I'll put my answer in here, negative 0.41246, okay? You can see that my area that I'm trying to find is 0.34, okay, which is what we had. So that's my z-score. This is my z-score, negative 0.41 for that area. Okay, number 4, okay, asks us to find percentiles. Okay, a percentile is the lowest 25%, right? So we want to know the area that gives you 25%. So you can just use the same thing here. Normal distribution, 0, 1, dot, or period. Inverse of 25% gives us the z-score right here. So once again, to check ourselves, normal distribution from there to this z-score, negative 0.6744, gives 25%. So the 25th percentile, 25% are below this number right here. So my z-score for this is negative 0.67. Okay, the 75th percentile, okay, I went 75% below. That's 0.67. So let's put the 0.67 in here. And we can see here that 75% is down here below this z-score right here of 0.67. Okay. And number 5, I'm going to go to my paper for that one. So 5.6 practice, these are the answers that I just had explained on Desmos. Okay, finding these percentages, these probabilities, and then also going the other way and finding these z-scores. Okay, so number 5, the last problem I have here for you, says the distribution of scores on a recent quiz in a large group of classes, about 2.5% of students scored below a 25. So where would that go on here? Okay, so if we think back to those probabilities we have, we had this, right? Okay, so if it says 25, below a 25 was 2.5%. So 2.5% would be right here at the -2 standard deviations. and that score corresponded with a 25 on it. So this would be a score of 25 right here. And then it says 84% of the students scored a 40 on a scored 40 below 40. Excuse me. So 84%. So let's see where 84% is. Okay. So if I add 2.5% in here, I'll give you a visual here. 2.5 plus this 13.5, not up to 84%, right? Plus 34, still not there. Plus 34, now I'm up to 84%, right? So this point right here would have 84% below it. So I know that 84% of them scored below a 40. So there's my 40. Okay, so we're going to try and estimate what the mean and the standard deviation are. So this is a little tricky. So I know my standard deviation has to go, I have to go from here to here, right? And to get there, I have to add a standard deviation in 1, 2, 3 times. Okay, so from here to here, it goes up 15. And what do I have to add 3 times to this to get 15? So I have to add 5 each time. So 25, 30, 35, and 40. So I can see that my mean is 35, and the standard deviation, I added 5 each time. So that was a little tricky. Come to class with some questions. Be ready to work and do some examples.